So, thank you. It's my first grade coming out. Hiring. When I was 13, Guy Kawasaki hates this story. When I was 13, I was at the Boston Computer Society in the winter time to see Guy Kawasaki talking about this new product coming out called the Macintosh. And he was so pumped. He was talking a mile a minute, which Boston gets, but like he's a West Coast guy. So all I thought was out there he must sound like a bee. He's up there like, it's so great, look at this, and there's a mouse. And you got to remember, computers before the Mac, were like, you had to like hack into your own machine. It was just your machine. And everything he showed, it was in black and white. Everything he showed was just like, ooh, I want some of that. So I turned to my dad and I go, ooh, I want to do what he does someday. My dad goes, that's a really stupid job. So Guy's a venture capitalist and he's rich and famous and all that. So, it goes to show you that my dad has never once picked right on a vote. He voted for Perot. He liked Beta. He thought the Magnavox Studio 2 was going to blow a hell out of the water of Atari because clearly it was a better product. He's worked for several companies that have closed right around him. His company acquired another company and they fired the IT department, him. So this is where I get all my good hiring advice. I worked for the phone company. That was my first giant job. Before that, my very first job ever was a librarian page. I always joked that I was going to work my way up to being a chapter. Thank you very much. I'm here all week. Try the video. At the phone company, these jobs are, I never knew what the word nepotism meant. I thought that's when you like dead people. It kind of is true in the phone company, because if you're related to anybody there, you can have a job for life. But I got it the old-fashioned way. My mom called me up and said, go down and get a job, now. Okay. I'm on the couch. So I got hired into the phone company, and all my friends were making like $20 an hour, and I was making $450 a week. Sorry, they'd make $20 a week. I'd make $450 a week. So my friends liked me suddenly because I could buy the pizza always. But the day I quit my phone company job was the day my mom about vomited in her mouth. Job for life, right? And then, in subsequent years, they've like raked my mom all over the coals. They forcibly retired her a little too early, didn't give her any good benefits, blah, blah, blah. Companies don't take care of you anymore. They don't love you. I love you. So pathetic, aren't I? But I quit and I joined a wireless company. And here's how I got the job. My old boss, Dave Johnson, was going over to this wireless company because he was retiring. He had 30 years in the phone company because he started when he was 18. So he retired and went over to this other company, and he was only like 50-something. So he's getting his pension and a salary. And I was like, God, I should have started cooler jobs when I was younger. But I wrote his resume because he couldn't write for crap, which is why I worked for him. And after I wrote his resume, they, instead of giving him the client relations job, they gave him the director of job. And so he still had to hire for that role. So I said, well, I'll go with you. And he said, okay. And so that's how I got my next big job in wireless, was I said, okay. So I worked there 9 3/4 years because I'm a quitter. During my job interview, by the way, here's a great question to ask. What an idiotic question. Where are you going to be in 5 years? Where are you going to be in 5 years? I told him, I don't know, not here. And he was really taken aback. He was a little offended. And I said, well, it's a big, huge, cool technology world. Why should I stay in the same company? That turd, he left like a year and a half later. I stayed 9 3/4 years. So, how I left that next job was Chris and I did something with PodCamp. And when I say Chris and I mean Chris and I and 7 or 8 other nice people. And made PodCamp happen. And we had the forethought, because of Justin Kanacki, to invite a serial entrepreneur, some of you might know, named Jeff Pulver. At the end of the PodCamp event, Jeff was so impressed with what we had done that he just pulled me aside and said, I have no idea how much money you're making, but I'd love to hire you to come work with me. Okay. Because I say, okay. And he said, okay, so we'll talk about it. And I said, no, I'll take the job. Oh, okay. Because, Jeff is a little impulsive. He just had never met anyone who was as impulsive back. What I like about this is that they never once looked at a resume. They have no idea if I was a murderer. I am. And whether or not I've done anything that was even pertinent to the job. I had not. So, I winged it for a year or so, and then I left. And then the next company didn't hire me with a resume either, because they figured they'd read my blog, I seem like a nice guy, they'll take me. Everything Aaron and Todd said was true. Most everything Stever said was true. I'm kidding, I'm the biggest fan of Get It Done guy. This is like my big day. It is who you know. That's not a lie. Use these tools, like when Chris gives this thing later and shows you about LinkedIn, take copious notes. Use these tools. It is who you know that makes jobs happen. And the jobs that you'll end up being passionate about come from the things that these tools allow us to do now, but the tools don't give you the job, you get the jobs. So if I tell you one other, yes, have a Twitter account, use it wisely. Yes, have a blog, do interesting things with it. Be helpful to other people, and oddly enough, people like you for that. That's all I got. Thanks.